You wake in complete darkness. Your chest is pressed against splintered wood. Cold seawater covers your legs. Something heavy is pinning one of your fins beneath a collapsed beam. For several seconds, you cannot remember where you are. Then your regulator rattles. A thin stream of bubbles slides past your face and disappears into the black water above you. You look at your pressure gauge. 14 minutes of air remain, maybe less. You are trapped inside the flooded hull of a sunken ship. The passage behind you has collapsed. The chamber is slowly filling. And outside the broken timbers, sharks are circling the wreck. There is one possible route to the surface. But to reach it, you must crawl through the interior of a ship that is breaking apart around you. 14 minutes. No direct ascent. No visible exit. And every movement risks bringing the entire wreck down on top of you. This is what survival might look like when the ocean takes away every easy choice. The ship lies on its side, approximately 30 meters beneath the surface. It may once have been a cargo vessel, a fishing boat, or an old wooden wreck. Now its decks have collapsed into one another. Walls have become floors. Doorways open into the ceiling. Loose ropes, electrical cables, fishing line, and broken timber fill the interior. When you entered, the water was clear. Sunlight reached through several openings in the hull. You could see the route behind you. Then part of the wreck shifted. A beam dropped. Sediment exploded from the floor. Within seconds, the passage vanished inside a cloud of silt. Your dive partner was on the other side. You do not know whether they escaped. You do not know whether they are searching for you. All you know is that you are alone. Your first instinct is to pull your trapped leg free. You twist hard. The beam does not move. You pull again. This time, your fin slips slightly, but your movement sends a vibration through the wreck. Somewhere above you, metal groans. You stop moving. You stop moving. That is the first survival problem. The fastest action may also be the action that kills you. Inside a fragile wreck, force is dangerous. The structure is already unstable. A beam that appears solid may be supporting an entire section of the hull. Moving it could free your leg. It could also collapse the only air pocket above you. You take one slow breath, then another. At 30 meters, every breath consumes gas approximately 4 times faster than it would at the surface. The pressure surrounding you compresses the air. Your cylinder may still show a usable pressure, but time at depth disappears quickly. If panic doubles your breathing rate, 14 minutes may become 7. If you begin fighting the wreck, it may become 4. The first thing you must control is not the beam. It is your breathing. You place one hand against the wood. With the other, you reach toward your ankle. The fin is not crushed. It is wedged beneath a narrow section of timber. You release the fin strap. Your foot slides free. The fin remains trapped. You have escaped the beam, but now you have only one fin. Swimming will be slower, control will be harder, and every kick risks stirring more sediment. You check your pressure gauge again. 12 minutes. 2 minutes have already disappeared. You turn your light toward the chamber. The beam reaches only a few feet before reflecting back from the suspended silt. The water looks almost solid. This is not ordinary darkness. Darkness allows a light beam to travel. Silt traps the light directly in front of your mask. The stronger the beam, the brighter the wall becomes. You cannot see the wreck. You can only see particles. You remember the route. At least you think you do. The entrance should be behind you and slightly above, but the ship is lying on its side. Your sense of up and down has become unreliable. Bubbles can indicate the highest point, but not the direction of the exit. They may travel into a sealed compartment. They may collect beneath a ceiling. They may lead you deeper into the wreck. The only reliable route would be a guideline connected to open water, but there is no line in your hand. Perhaps you entered without one. Perhaps it snapped when the wreck shifted. Either way, memory is now your only map. You extend your left hand until your fingertips touch the wall. Then you begin moving slowly. One hand remains on the wreck. The other protects your mask and regulator. You move using small pulls instead of strong kicks. Your missing fin trails behind you. The goal is to avoid disturbing the bottom. Inside an overhead environment, visibility is not simply helpful. Visibility is time. When it disappears, every decision takes longer. You reach an opening. Your hand finds a jagged frame. It could be the doorway you passed through earlier, or it could lead into another compartment. You shine your light through it. Nothing. Then you see movement. A pale shape passes beyond the opening. It disappears. Seconds later, it returns. A shark. The animal moves past the broken hull, turns, and circles again. It is not tearing through the ship. It is not deliberately hunting you. But the wreck is releasing vibration. Your bubbles are escaping through the timber. The water may contain fish, blood, bait, or remains from the vessel. The shark is investigating. Then another shape passes behind it, and another. The opening may lead outside, but it may open directly into the path of the sharks. You have 10 minutes of air remaining. This is the second survival problem. The frightening route may be the correct route. Inside the wreck, you face entrapment, disorientation, collapsing debris, and diminishing gas. Outside, you face open water and sharks. The sharks are visible. That makes them feel like the greater danger. But the wreck is already killing you. You move closer to the opening. Your light catches the edge of a metal plate. Beyond it, you can see faint blue water. This is not the main entrance. It is a narrow break in the hull. The opening may be wide enough for your body, but your cylinder will not pass straight through. You test the edges with your hand. Sharp metal, splintered wood, a torn cable hangs across the center. If you force your way through, the cable could catch your regulator hose. It could pull the mask from your face. It could trap the cylinder valve. The opening is an escape route only if you can pass through without becoming stuck. You turn sideways and measure the space with your arm. It is close, too close. You remove nothing yet. Dropping equipment inside the wreck creates new problems. Your cylinder is your life support system. Your buoyancy device helps control your position. Your mask protects your vision. But survival may require temporarily removing the cylinder while keeping the regulator in your mouth. Technical wreck divers practice this. An untrained diver might attempt it under panic and lose control of the equipment. Your gauge now suggests 8 minutes. You do not have time to search for a larger opening. You begin preparing. First, you make sure the regulator hose has enough length. Then you release the waist strap. Then, one shoulder strap. You keep the second shoulder strap secured so the cylinder cannot drift away. You rotate onto your side. The shark passes outside again. Its silhouette fills the opening for a moment. Then, it is gone. You push your left arm through the gap. Your shoulder follows. The metal catches your suit. You stop. Pulling harder could tear the material or lodge you deeper. You back away several inches. Something bumps the hull outside. The impact travels through the wreck. A loose board drops behind you. The original chamber is now partially blocked. You may not be able to retreat. 7 minutes. You change your angle. This time you push the cylinder ahead of you rather than dragging it behind. The regulator remains in your mouth. One hand controls the cylinder valve. The other guides your body through the opening. Your head passes, then your shoulders. For 1 second, the cylinder jams. You cannot move forward. You cannot move backward. Your breathing accelerates. The gauge needle trembles. This is the moment panic would take control. A trapped diver may begin pulling violently. The cylinder could turn sideways and become permanently wedged. The regulator hose could tighten. The mask could flood. Instead, you stop. You exhale. Your chest becomes slightly smaller. You lower one shoulder and rotate your hips. The cylinder slips through. You fall into open water. The wreck is now behind you. Above, faint sunlight filters down from the surface. You have escaped the hull, but you are still 30 meters deep, and the sharks are much closer than they appeared from inside. At least 4 are circling the wreck. One passes beneath you. Another approaches from the side. Their movements are controlled. They are not charging. But your exit released a cloud of sediment and bubbles. You are now the largest moving object near the wreck. You have approximately 6 minutes of gas. A direct rush to the surface would be tempting, but a rapid ascent carries serious risk. As pressure decreases, the air inside your lungs expands. Holding your breath could cause a lung expansion injury. A fast ascent also increases the risk of decompression illness. The deeper and longer the dive, the greater that risk may become. But remaining at depth is no longer possible. You must ascend. The question is how fast. You secure the cylinder back onto your body. One strap is twisted. You do not waste time making it perfect. You look upward. There is no anchor line, no guideline, no visible boat, only open blue water. You begin a controlled ascent. Because you have one fin, you use gentle kicks and your free hand to stabilize yourself. You vent expanding air from your buoyancy device. You continue breathing. Never hold your breath. A shark approaches from behind. You turn to face it. Many sharks prefer approaching from outside a person's field of view. Facing the animal does not guarantee safety, but it allows you to track its movement. You keep the wreck behind you and open water above. The shark turns away. Another moves beneath your feet. You resist the urge to kick at it. Sudden, erratic movement could increase attention. Your goal is not to defeat the shark. It is to leave the area without behaving like injured prey. 25 meters. Your gas pressure continues falling. Your breathing is louder now. The regulator delivers each breath, but there is less reserve behind it. You have perhaps 4 minutes, maybe less. You continue upward. At 20 meters, the water brightens. The sharks remain near the wreck. One follows for several seconds, then turns back. The wreck itself may be more interesting than you are. That is the first sign that you may survive. But the danger is not over. You are alone in open water. You do not know whether the boat can see you. You do not know whether your partner reported you missing. You have no surface marker deployed. If you reach the surface far from the vessel, waves may hide you completely. At 15 meters, your regulator begins breathing differently. The resistance increases. This is a warning. The cylinder is nearly empty. You check the gauge. The needle is close to zero. At depth, a pressure gauge may not provide a perfectly comfortable final margin. Once the cylinder reaches its last usable gas, the regulator may deliver one difficult breath and then nothing. You need to reach the surface before that happens, but you also need to avoid an uncontrolled ascent. You exhale continuously and move upward. 12 meters. 10. Your regulator gives you another breath, then another. At 9 meters, it becomes noticeably harder. You try once more. Very little air arrives. You are now performing an emergency swimming ascent. You release any remaining air from your lungs in a slow stream. The air expands as you rise. Even after exhaling, expanding gas may continue leaving your lungs. You keep your airway open. 7 meters. The surface appears close enough to touch, but distance underwater is deceptive. Your chest burns. Your body demands that you inhale. You keep moving. 5 meters. In an ideal situation, you might pause for a safety stop. But this is no longer an ideal situation. You have no breathing gas. The wreck is below. The sharks are behind you. You continue ascending. 3 meters. Light explodes across the water above. You break the surface. Your first breath is not air. It is seawater. A wave hits your face before you can clear your regulator. You cough and spit. Then you inhale again. This time, air enters. You inflate your buoyancy device manually. It does not respond at first. The cylinder is empty, so the power inflator may not function. You use the oral inflation valve. One breath, then another. The buoyancy device begins supporting you. You look around. Nothing. No boat. No diver. Only waves. The wreck lies somewhere beneath you. The sharks may still be below. You remove one weight pocket and drop it. Then the other. Every kilogram of positive buoyancy matters now. You attempt to signal. If you have a whistle, you use it. If you have a surface marker, you deploy it. If you have a mirror, strobe, or personal locator beacon. This is the moment those small pieces of equipment become more important than the expensive gear still strapped to your body. You hear an engine. At first, you think it may be imagination. Then, it becomes louder. A boat appears beyond the waves. It turns toward you. Someone on the bow points. You raise one arm. The vessel approaches. Hands reach down. You are pulled from the water. Only after you are aboard do you realize how close the margin had become. Your cylinder is empty. One fin is missing. Your suit is torn. Your pressure gauge rests at zero. The entire escape, From the moment the wreck collapsed until you reached the surface took less than 14 minutes. But time did not feel constant. The first 2 minutes disappeared in confusion. The next several slowed into individual breaths. The final ascent felt both endless and immediate. That is how underwater emergencies distort time. 14 minutes can sound generous while standing on land. Inside a wreck at 30 meters, it is almost nothing. The survival lessons in this scenario are not complicated, but they are unforgiving. Never enter an overhead environment without the training, equipment, gas planning, redundancy, and continuous guideline required to exit safely. A wreck is not simply an interesting object underwater. Once a diver passes beneath a ceiling or deep into a hull, the direct route to the surface disappears. A single structural shift can remove visibility and block the original passage. A single lost fin can change swimming efficiency. A single trapped hose can stop an escape. And a pressure gauge does not measure time. It measures gas. Stress determines how quickly that gas becomes time. The sharks were the most visible threat in this story, but they were not the greatest one. The wreck was, the silt was, the missing guideline was, the collapsing structure was, and most of all, the rapidly shrinking supply of breathing gas was. The ocean often hides its real danger behind the danger that captures our attention. A shark circling outside feels terrifying, but a wooden beam resting quietly across an exit may be far more lethal. The survivor escaped because each problem was handled in order. First, control breathing. Second, free the trapped leg without destabilizing the wreck. Third, maintain physical contact with the structure. Fourth, evaluate the opening before forcing through it. Fifth, preserve life support equipment. Sixth, ascend while continuing to breathe and vent expanding air. And finally, create positive buoyancy and signal for rescue. Survival was not one heroic action. It was a chain of small decisions made before panic could take control. 14 minutes of air, one blocked passage, one narrow opening, and an ocean full of reasons to make the wrong move. Could you have stayed calm inside that wreck, or would the sight of the sharks outside have forced you to remain inside for too long? Tell me in the comments. And remember, when you are trapped beneath the surface, the most frightening escape route may still be safer than the place you are trying to leave.